I am 69. My knees forecast the rain better than the weatherman. And the GE fridge hums in the corner like an old dog snoring. The kitchen is 800 honest square feet of linoleum, onions in a mesh bag, and a chipped white mug that says Minerva Civics, 1989. There's a yellow ledger open on the table, pages lined with dates, not dreams. When you buried the person who made your life interesting, you learn to count what's left. On the fridge, an Ohio State magnet crooked. Under it, a note in my daughter's quick, slanted hand. Dad, 6 p.m. today. Eric gets off early. Important. L. Important, sure. So is gravity. I heat Campbell's chicken noodle in the can because I'm not in a pot mood. 3 saltines, extra pepper. In the living room, the old Sanyo glares static around Channel 10. Rabbit ears pointing at God. On the counter, a vanilla candle I bought from the Henderson girl for her band fundraiser. I light it, and the house stops smelling like a widower's quiet. Ruth died on a Monday, May 3rd, 2021. So Mondays are just a door that shuts. You live after by folding towels neat and paying the bills on time. It's a kind of prayer. At 5:58, I wiped the table and set 2 of the good plates. The ones with the gold rim Ruth swore made spaghetti taste richer. You set places for people you love, even when they say they've eaten. That's my religion. At 6 sharp, I hear the Silverado's chirp. Eric's truck, my Ranger 2002, dented tailgate, DAV plate, sits under the hackberry like a retriever that won't come inside until you ask nice. The screen door whispers when I open it. I catch the scent of tires and expensive soap. They come in together. Laura in her clinic lanyard and a bruised plum sweater. Eric in salesman shoulders and the kind of grin that lives next door to no. Hi, Dad. Laura sings light as frosting. Kids, I nod. Hungry. We ate already, Eric says, eyes flicking to the plates. He does not apologize. He never does. We need to talk about the house, Laura says, sitting down without waiting to be asked. Her fingers tap the table like she's playing scales. When she was 12, she worked through Chopin here until Ruth cried in the kitchen and said, "That's real music, baby." Memory is a practical joker. It shows up for the wrong scenes and won't leave. What about the house? I asked because I was a teacher for 28 years and learned that questions calm a room. Eric slides a manila envelope toward me. The toner smell is fresh. UPS store, 15 minutes ago. Quitclaim deed sits at the top in big, clean font. My name's Grantor. Their LLC, a mouthful of nothing, is grantee. The red notary stamp box is blank, waiting. Eric sets a black pen with a silver clip beside it, like a waiter placing a check. This is standard, Mr. Pruitt. Is it? I say, the way you say, show me where in the textbook. For peace of mind, he adds. Laura nods. She does back up like it's a job. I pick up the pen, feel its weight, and put it down again. I don't sign my wife's kitchen away on a Tuesday. Laura's mouth tenses. She's got Ruth's lips, same shape, different purposes. Dad, be reasonable. It doesn't make sense for you to handle all this anymore. All this? I say, looking at the stove that runs hot and the sink that drains slow. All this is called my home. Eric leans in, elbows on the table like a sportscaster cueing the replay. You fell in February. I tripped on the rug. Exactly, he says, smiling like he's won. Laura nudges the envelope with 2 fingers. Sign over the deed, Dad, she says softly. Or get out. Not said mean, said precise, like a nurse giving a shot. I breathe. I look at the ledger. The ledger looks back. Lines, numbers, a tired teacher's handwriting. Get out where? Shady Grove, Eric says, with a salesman's sheen. 1-story meal plan called Buttons. Medical director. Very reasonable. How reasonable? I ask. Laura's eyes flash. Don't be dramatic. I'm not. I'm retired. I track costs now like I tracked attendance. $3,200 a month, Eric says. He doesn't blink. He's practiced. My pension plus Social Security plus the loose change in the Windex jar. Got it. I tap the corner of the deed. No. The candle flickers. The fridge purrs. I hear us all breathing. Eric's jaw grinds 2 clicks. Laura tries again. We've been carrying a lot, Dad. The furnace. The groceries. Eric's dental. I have the receipts, I say, not unkindly. And the ledger. Your ledger too, it seems, since you had it out when I came home Sunday. My daughter stares at the table, like it said something rude. Fair, I say. Let's talk about fair. First, the dead. You can't do the math without them. Ruth's funeral was on a Friday. Pastor White said the right things. People brought casseroles and Pyrex with Sharpa labels. Then the food stopped and the evenings yawned. I learned that the radio talks to nobody at 11 p.m. the kindest way possible. Those first months, Laura came by more. Eric too. Advice piled up like junk mail. Autopaid ad. No ladders. We should declutter. Then the bridges. October 17th, 2023. $12,000 just for a month to help Laura's friend cover a condo earnest money. Memo for inspection. Will repay 11/15. On November 16th, I taped the transfer slip into my ledger and wrote no repayment yet, in smaller letters than felt right. December 28th, $8,500. Eric's urgent dental. Double root canal. Out of network. He gritted his teeth when he said it, because of course he did. January 6th, $22,000. Closing costs, Laura said, eyes up, no blink. For our place, she added when I made the face. Promises, we'll square it, Dad. February 10th, $6,300. My student loan servicer messed up, Laura sighed, irritated at a world that kept invoices. Just through the end of the month. March 2nd, $26,400. Eric called it an escrow double pay screw-up. I wrote escrow snafu in the memo because my humor shrank as my checking account did. Then April 4th, $19,800. This one had a sparkle. Tickets. Eric had found a once-in-a-decade deal for business class airfare to Miami and on to Curacao for a rental income seminar he needed for a career pivot. My reward, he said, would be visiting next winter and sitting by the water like a king. Do kings usually wire money to sons-in-law? I asked. Leverage, Laura said, as if that made math holy. Leverage, to me, is a crowbar under a rotted step. It helps you pry something up. It also ruins the plank if you don't know what you're doing. Each time they promise a date. Next Friday, end of the month, when the escrow untangles, when the Airbnb closes. Each time. Next Friday moved the way Christmas does for a 7-year-old. Always almost. So when they put a deed on my table, I recognize a pattern. My name is a wallet. My house was a wallet with windows. They made a notary appointment, Saturday, April 13, 10 a.m. UPS store at the freeway because it's efficient. Efficiency makes me want to count my fingers. Friday night, I took out the deed. Walnut brown paper. Our names, Ruth and mine, sitting there like a blessing. I traced the letters with a thumbnail and thought about her stubborn kindness. She had rules. Measure twice, cut once. We don't sign what we don't understand. Check the salt. I took the yellow ledger and copied the transfers onto clean paper at the library because the copier there smells like ozone and dignity. Saturday morning, I put on a clean blue shirt and my black jacket. It still fits if I don't inhale. I poured folders into my travel mug. I drove to the UPS store and parked. I watched the neon open flicker at 9:59. I turned the key and drove home. Laura called. I let it ring. She texted, "You're making this harder, Dad." Eric sent a thumbs down like we were kids in the bleachers. I made oatmeal, oversalted it. Ate it anyway. Sometimes stubborn is a meal. At 6 p.m., the Silverado chirped again. They didn't come inside. I met them on the porch the way you meet a storm. Square on. How could you embarrass us? Laura said, voice tight. We set this up. Embarrass you? I repeated. Gary from next door pretended to water a dead, hanging basket. Mrs. Baker walked her corgi with a blinking collar that said someone loved him enough to keep track. Eric pulled a folded paper from his pocket. We already put down deposits for contractors to make this place safe. Ramps, bars, widening doors. We're out real money. How much? I asked because the number makes a lie pig a laying. He hesitated. $7,500. With my money or yours? Family money is family money. The motto of the leverage class. Sign the deed, Eric said quietly, or you're out by June. Is that a threat or a plan? It's a timeline. Good, I said. I like timelines. Laura's tears gathered. I felt the old tug, protect, fix, cover. But a voice arrived. Ruth's with a Midwestern edge. No more. I put my hands in my jacket pockets so I wouldn't reach out and save someone stealing from me. I'm not signing, I said. And I'm not moving. You can't stop us, Eric said. I can hire a person who knows the words, I said. And the forms. Main Street, Monday, meter broken, good omen. The door said Martinez and Lowry, attorneys at law. The lobby ficus had been through things and come out wiser. Peppermint in the air. A receptionist named Joan. Hair like iron. Voice like a retired principal. You look like a man who brought receipts, she said. Yes, ma'am, I said, and set the ledger down like a hymn book. Ms. Lowry was younger than I expected and sharper than my kitchen knives. Fountain pen, blue ink. The habit of listening all the way to the end. I told it in order. Dates, memos, promises, to sign the deed, Dad, or get out. When I finally said $95,000, she underlined the number twice and said, Okay. I asked, surprised by the oxygen in that word. If you believe older voices still matter, support this channel with a like and a subscription. We send a demand for $95,000 plus interest, she said. Conversion. Unjust enrichment. We put them on notice that any attempt to cloud title gets a swift injunctive response. If necessary, we record a lease pendens. What pensions? I said. Latin for park somewhere else, she said. It tells the world your title is under dispute. Keeps quitclaim cowboys off your lawn. I laughed. It sounded less like gravel than it had in months. She copied my ledger like it was scripture. She took my bank statements, each transfer tabbed and highlighted, and asked for permission to request official copies. She asked for the text messages. Next Friday, we promise, just until the escrow frees up, and printed them with timestamps. She said the bank would produce wire confirmations and that numbers tell the truth even when people don't. Do you want the police involved? She asked, voice even. Elder coercion is actionable. Ruth in my head again. Don't answer angry. Answer accurate. No, I said. I want my money and my doorbell to ring less. Good goals, she said. The demand letter went out certified on Wednesday. Cream paper, font, precise verbs. It listed every transfer. Dates. Amounts, memos, tickets to Miami, escrow, double pay, dental. It asked for $95,000 plus 5% interest within 10 business days. It advised that any attempt to record a deed would be met with a TRO. It was the opposite of a threat. It was a schedule. Friday, Laura called. I let it go to voicemail and listened while I pinched suckers off my tomato plants on the back steps. Dad, she said. And the wobble in her voice had me half standing. A lawyer? We could have worked this out. We tried 11 times, I told the tomatoes. Eric texted, nice try. You can't sue family. I wrote his line on a Post-it and stuck it inside the ledger under a new heading. Things people say before judges frown. They didn't pick up the certified mail. Joan said process server with a peppermint click. And delivery makes an impression. Arrow Ridge Plaza, 5:15 p.m., Thursday, between the Orange Leaf and Verizon. A man in a windbreaker asked, Eric Collins? Yeah. Handoff. Packet thick as a civics midterm. You've been served. Complaint for conversion and unjust enrichment. Motion for temporary restraining order. 28 days to respond. Eric laughed. It clanked. This is a mistake, he said, looking for a camera. Not my job, the server said. He turned to Laura. Miss Collins. She took her copy. A couple en route to the nail salon slowed to the pace of gossip. The security guard eyed the scene like it might get YouTubed. I watched from the Ranger with the window cracked and a peppermint on my tongue. Joan's idea. The breeze smelled like someone grilling. The peonies over on Pine were probably exploding pink right about then. I counted to 10. The way Ruth did when the casserole burned and she wanted not to throw the pan. At 8 p.m., Laura called. I answered. How could you? She said, voice small and sharp at the same time. How could I what? Humiliate us. You asked me to sign over my house, I said. You took $95,000 and called it family money. If humility is missing, it isn't on my side of the table. Silence. Then we'll pay it back. Perfect, I said. Tell it to the judge. Courthouses smell like floor cleaner and coffee and Tuesday. The bailiff had a voice that could hush a cafeteria. All rise. We rose. Judge Hawkins wore glasses halfway down his nose. He looked over them when he wanted full attention. By page 2, we all were students again. Ms. Lowry stood like a catcher. Balanced. Ready. Your Honor, this is a simple case, she began. Mr. Pruitt transferred $95,000 over 14 months based on specific promises of repayment. Respondents then attempted to coerce a quitclaim deed under threat of removal. We seek injunction, restitution, interest, fees. Mr. Greeley, tasteful suit, tasteful hair, tasting every word, said, family gifts. No contracts. Texts promising repayment, Ms. Lowry said, handing exhibits up. 11 of them. Dates and amounts aligned to bank transfers. Additionally, we note $19,800 labeled tickets to Miami and $26,400 to an unregistered LLC, not an escrow, a second home. Aspirational language, Mr. Greeley tried about the texts. Aspirational. Judge Hawkins repeated like a man testing a golf club at the store and not buying it. The judge asked me, Mr. Pruitt, do you understand what a quitclaim deed does? It makes the person with the pen the person with the house, I said. And do you want to sign one? No, Your Honor. He nodded once. He turned to Laura and Eric. Did you ask him to? Eric's mouth open, closed. Laura's chin lifted. We asked for what made sense. For whom? The judge asked, kindly as a ladder. No one answered. TRO granted, he said. No deed, no pressure. No unwanted contact for 30 days. Restitution hearing in 6 weeks. I want clean numbers and no poetry. His gavel didn't bang. It tapped like a teacher saying enough. Numbers told the story with the patience of a bricklayer. Ms. Lowry's paralegal, Tyler, buzz-cut posture of a stop sign, built a spreadsheet that could have preached a sermon. Each transfer linked to a text. Each memo paired with a bank confirmation. He found Eric's LLC registered after money started flowing. He found the Maya Midikits purchased through a concierge at 11:43 a.m. April 4, 22 minutes after my wire cleared, and 40 minutes before a text from Laura, hey, can we borrow Dad's leaf blower, which somehow made it worse. Day 19. Mr. Greeley emailed. Our clients propose $150 per month beginning November. Joan printed it and slid it across the conference table like it was a comedy prop. You've got to almost admire the confidence, she said, peppermint bright. Do I look like $150? I asked the drop ceiling. Do I look like 53 years of patience? Ms. Lowry's reply could have cut rope. Unacceptable. Full repayment of $95,000 plus 5% interest. Secured by confession of judgment. Payment due within 15 days of execution. Fees per statute. I didn't know what a confession of judgment was Monday. By Wednesday, I loved it like a seatbelt. They default, we file, we collect, Ms. Lowry said. Cheerful in the way only people with a plan are. At the hearing, Mr. Greeley tried remorse. Your honor funds moved. Yes, but these were familial, and our clients intended. Intended is not a bank product, Judge Hawkins said. He turned a page. I find conversion. I find unjust enrichment. Restitution of $95,000 plus interest at 5%. Reasonable attorney's fees. Confession of judgment to secure. 30 days. Eric's face did something like a pop tire. Laura stared straight ahead. For a second, just one, I saw the kid who had made Ruth cry with Chopin and wanted to tell her we'd figured out. Then the UPS store flashed in my head. The pen, the blank notary box. And I remember that figured out had started to mean empty my pockets and open my door. We filed the order that afternoon. The checks came in 2 lumps of apology. First, they sold the boat. Then the second SUV. Word was the boat hurt louder. A courier in a tie brought cashiers checks like white flags. Mr. Patel, the bank manager with bow ties, he rotates like seasons, took me into his office and made copies. Counterfeit proof, he said, tapping the watermark. Just like your ledger. Most people don't keep ledgers, he added. Most people don't expect their kids to invoice them, I said. He winced in a way that made me like him more. On a Tuesday in August, the fee order posted as paid. I baked a cherry pie, too much cornstarch, not enough patience, and took it to the firm. Joan traded me a blister pack of peppermints with a wink. For those moments when you want to remember you stood up straight, she said. Back home, I changed the locks. Not like a movie, like a homeowner. Gary from next door held the new deadbolt in place while I drilled. We installed a video doorbell. It chimed too cheerful, but I let it. Gary posted a picture on Facebook with 17 exclamation points. I survived. Laura texted, "Dad, can we talk?" The bubble sat there on my phone, like a nickel I didn't pick up. I typed, "Yes," deleted. I typed, "No," deleted. In the end, "I love you. I'm not discussing the house." Send. That Sunday, I cooked Ruth's chicken paprikash. The recipe card leaned against the sugar jar. Oil stains mapping old dinners. It tasted almost right. I ate at the kitchen table with the radio low and the candle flickering. After, I washed the skillet, dried it slow, set it back on the stove back right like always. The house made its small night noises. The fridge purred. The floor settled. The maple out front tipped a leaf against the window like a polite hello. Before bed, I made copies of a ledger. 5 envelopes, bank box, lawyer file, bottom of the flour tin. Ruth would have laughed. The file cabinet in the den, and one addressed to myself. Sometimes your future self needs incoming mail. I also bought a bright orange yard sign at the hardware store, the kind you stick in the grass for elections, and wrote with a Sharpie, "Not for sale." I didn't really need it, but it made me grin when I pulled into the drive. "You want a scene? You'll get one." A month later, Arrow Ridge Plaza, because my life loves a callback. I'm there for light bulbs at the dollar store. Eric comes out of the Verizon with a new case and eyes that won't meet mine. "Mr. Pruitt," he says, as if we've only met the once. "Eric," I say, because names are free. He opens his mouth to say something I don't want. Maybe an apology that doesn't include verbs. Maybe a complaint about what they had to sell. Maybe leverage with fewer syllables. I lift a hand, teacher's stop sign. "Don't," I say. "If it's about the house, don't." He looks at the pavement, nods. "We paid," he says small. "We paid." Like the line could be the start of a different life. "Good," I say. "Keep doing that to the world." He goes left. I go right. A security guard pretends to check a receipt. The sky looks like late September, even though it's only mid. Because I'll hire fuses to read calendars. When I get home, there's a package on the porch. A set of brass numbers I ordered 317 to replace the faded ones by the door. I screw them in straight and step back. The number catches sunlight. It gleams like proof. Inside the cabinet, above the plates with the gold rim, Ruth's pencil scrawl still softens the wood. Check the salt. I touch it with a thumb like you touch a name on a stone. I whisper, "I checked." They told me, "Sign over the deed, Dad, or get out." I signed the right papers instead. I kept my house. I kept my ledger. I kept and kept and kept. And then, this is the important part, I locked my own door from the inside and went to bed early.